And we are live. I am just getting my Instagram set up here because I'm going to broadcast there as well. And it seems that we're also broadcasting on my Facebook page here. Story. I guess I'm adding to my story here. Just a second as we queue up. And we're also live on, what is this called? Instagram. Perfect. So we're streaming in 3 places. And today we're talking Italy. So let's just give people like a minute or two to show up and see what's going on. Right now, I'm not talking to anybody. I got 3 viewers so far. Not sure who they are, but what's up, guys? Thanks for joining in. We're just waiting for other viewers to come on so I could get started and we make this as rich of a live as possible. We might be able to get this one through in 30 minutes or so. We don't need to take too long to talk about what's going on. But I kind of want to see something. If we can just test an idea. I'm not sure how long it takes for a comment to register. So please, if you can, anybody who's here, just drop a comment so I can see how quickly that comment picks up the StreamYard. What's going on, Black? Steph, what's up? So we're going live to talk about my my purchases. Okay, so that's about a 15-second delay. Miss Dies, I wonder how I pronounce that. Miss Dies or Daish. Troken, what's up? Welcome. What's up, guys? All right. So we've been waiting for 3 minutes now. So we might as well get going. Welcome, everybody. Hi. Exciting stuff to talk about. Hopefully I'm not coming out that dark here on Instagram. I don't even know how much battery life I got. Okay, I got a little bit. Deesh. Perfect. Thank you, Deesh. You got this. Thank you, Laura. All right. So let's talk about what's going on in Italy. So my first Italian property closed. Just to give you a little background, kind of hip you to the story as to what happened. My brother is always looking at real estate, whether it's in the United States or abroad. I don't know how he does it, but he seems to always be up to date with things that are happening. Even though I'm a real estate investor, he's a physician. He's always, shopping and showing me what's going on in the marketplace. So he came across this ad or not an ad, but like, I guess some clickbait on Apple. It was an article by CNN or from CNN talking about €1 homes for sale in Italy. He's got this idea. We both drank a little too much, I think, but he's got this idea of having a vineyard one day. And he was like, this would be potentially the perfect opportunity to buy land on the cheap, get this vacation house / vineyard going. So he sent it to me because he knows that I'm a real estate investor and likely to partake in some sort of nonsense like this. So I read through the article. It's coming from CNN, so I believe it to be reputable. And inside of that article is Valeria's email address, and Valeria is the real estate agent that I worked with to buy these homes. So I was like, hey, you know what? Whatever, man. I'll shoot an email out, see what happens. Took her about, I would say, 3 weeks to get back to me. And she got back to me saying, in order for you to buy one of these homes, you need to come out here, right? So these are the dates that we have available. This was back in the fall of 2019. The next date was like November. It was too soon for me to kind of rearrange my schedule just to go out there. So I chose the date in February, okay? Fly out to Sicily in February. It's wintertime there. It's not so bad. Like I would say a winter day is about 40 degrees, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's mild winter. It's not as cold as New York, um, but cooler than Miami or Fort Lauderdale, where I am now. And I went out there to check out the properties. I went there for 2 weeks just to understand the landscape of Sicily. So a week before my viewing, I had arrived. I arrived in Palermo, which is like the big city of Sicily. That's where the airport is. And I drove from Palermo to Mussomeli, which is the town that was promoting it. Just as a point of reference, there's more than one town in Italy, both Sicily and mainland Italy, that are doing these Euro specials. Some of them are even doing them at €2. So there's been 100% increase in property values since the last sale. And the whole idea is they're trying to encourage investment in the areas. These are cities that are shrinking, properties that have been left behind, dilapidated. So they're selling them at the nominal fee of $1. And the idea is that whoever's buying them must renovate, must get them up to current code, make them livable. That creates jobs for the community and restores the community itself. So Mussomeli is like in the mountainside of Sicily, so higher elevations in the center of the island. So we're about 45 minutes from the beach or so down in Agrigento. And you can check out my video on my channel that shows you what that south coast of Sicily looks like. It's really beautiful, pretty calm seas. So you have beach access 45 minutes away, which is not bad. And then you're in the countryside, sheep farmers in general, chicken farmers, what you name it. Those guys are out in the countryside. So it's a proper town, about 12,000 locals, supermarket, church, of course, bars, a few restaurants, all the basic things that you would need to have a town, banks, that sort of thing. So I got a feel for the town. I visited Palermo. I visited Agrigento. I did some sightseeing, interacted with the people to see what the vibe was like. And overall, I was ready to buy, right? So I was like, for $1, why not? But when you see these Euro homes, especially the inventory that's left over, they're pretty crappy, man. Like complete disrepair. Some of them look like a bomb hit them. But they're really cute, right? They're really nice. They have that old European vibe, that old world vibe. And I think the €1 specials are best for like architects, designers, carpenters, people who are going to really enjoy that process of taking it from almost a pile of rubble to exactly how they want it. But it's not the best value. The best value is the premium market, and that's the property that I bought. I bought 2 of them. So I've closed on one so far, and that is the larger one, which is actually the one that's not that interesting to me. It has a beautiful view, and if you check out the video, you can see that. I'm not gonna, share pictures here, just because I might mess up the feed. But it has a really gorgeous view. It has, parking right in front, which my small property doesn't have. It's maybe 3 minutes to the piazza, and it's a nice property. It's 3 stories, it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. I'm going to be adding a 2nd bathroom, and I'm going to be actually making it into a 2-family house. And I have a update, a video coming out, really describing what my renovations plans are. So you guys are going to see exactly some more details on this property, how it looks now, and where I'm trying to take it. That property I'm going to use for family vacations, vacationing with friends, letting my friends stay there. And when I'm not there, not using it, of course, it's going on Airbnb. I am an Airbnb host. I've had properties, my property in Colombia is now, gone. due to coronavirus. So we had to give that one up, but I still have my property in New York City. I'll be adding more Airbnb properties to my portfolio and more international properties. So this one is going to be on Airbnb, but this was probably the house where when I'm with family, I'll probably be there because it's more space. If I'm traveling solo, I'm going to stay at my small house, which is just a 1-bedroom house. So anyway, this house I saw after seeing the Euro specials. Valeria told me that she was going to show me some of the premium listings that were in better shape. So of course I was like, all right, I might as well look at that. I knew I was going to buy something regardless. So anyway, I saw this house. They were selling it for 12,000 euros. I didn't negotiate on price, which I think is unusual for Europeans. I think it's kind of customary to negotiate prices. So I think they were a little surprised I just came in at ask. You're selling a house for $12,000. I'm not going to nickel and dime you down to 10,000 or 11,500 or that $2,000 savings is negligible. So I just put in a full price offer, got the property, the contract. In order to start the process, you're going to need to sign a document, which is your official purchase agreement. And you do that with the real estate agent. You then have, a certain amount of time to wire the funds to the seller. Okay. Which I thought was kind of weird because usually those funds in the States are held in escrow, right? Because what happens if the seller runs off or dies like they did in my case with the smaller property? But that's another story. I'll probably cover that in another video. But you actually wire the money to the seller. And the terms of the contract states that if the seller reneges, then you're able to collect double your deposit, and that's enforceable by law. And if you back out of the deal, you lose your deposit. My deposit was, I believe, 10% of the purchase price. So for that property, it was $1,200. For my little property, it was 500 or euro equivalent. The euro was trading at around $1.10 per €1. So about 10% more than the US dollar. I already have one question, which is great, and I love the questions. What do you mean the property in Colombia is gone? Did it disappear? Yes, it vanished. It got coronavirus and disappeared. No, so the property I had was a rent-to-rent strategy. So I rented out a building, converted that building into multiple apartments and a restaurant. And already it wasn't performing that well. Medellin is like a weekend city. So we were at like 65% occupancy. So it wasn't really doing that well to begin with. When coronavirus hit, Colombia went into hardcore lockdown. So the tourism stopped. So multiple months of no revenue in a proposition that was already a loser, we decided to cut it and just go out of business there. So that's what I mean. It disappeared. It vanished. I'm done with that one. I will get another one going, but I'm going to try a different format. I'm going to, instead of doing multiple apartments in one building, I'm just going to get a party house and host like large groups. And I think that'll be better value. I'll make more money there. And that was kind of the idea that I had with this one, but me and my partner had differences of opinions on that. He was the one that was managing it day to day, so I let him choose the format, and that format proved to be wrong. So sometimes you have to trust your instincts and trust your gut. That was one of the times I didn't, and I lost about I think $80,000 on that venture. So you live, you learn. Sienna, sometimes it seems as an insult when you don't haggle. Glad that you were able to secure the properties. Looking forward to the updates. You think it's considered an insult when you don't haggle? I would rather not negotiate with anybody. If people gave me my full asking price all the time, I would be in heaven. I hate going back and forth. This is the price that I want. I'm kind of used to that. This is the price that I want. Either you want it or you don't. To start splitting hairs, Like that's more money out of your pocket, but less money out of mine. Why would I want that? Or less money going into mine, So I don't really like to negotiate too much. Eurobell, who's on Instagram, is asking, how do I manage Airbnbs abroad? Example, Italy. Well, to actually manage the bookings, you just need two thumbs and a Wi-Fi connection. As far as managing the cleanings and the turnovers of your space is no different than me managing it from Florida to New York City. You have to have a maintenance contact for, actually fixing things, light bulbs, physical things that might need somebody to repair. And those are far and few. And then you need a cleaning person. That's probably the most critical piece, the person who's going to be turning over the apartment between guests. And that's easy to find because there's always cleaning services. So you let them know that you'll be a regular, reoccurring client, that you need your cleanings to occur between your checkout time, which is usually 11 to 2 p.m. or 11 to 3 p.m. And you just send your cleaner the schedule. And you make sure that they understand how you want the property turned over. I want this many towels. The towels must be washed between each set. Change out all the bed sheets, mop the floors, clean all the surfaces, especially the high contact surfaces that will, collect gook and germs, especially in this time. Make sure those are well cleaned. And they turn it over. Any little treats that you leave behind, bottles of water, candies, they're responsible for covering those costs. I reimburse my cleaning person for any kind of toiletries and those sort of things that are replenished. Any laundry fees, I reimburse, and I pay them their cleaning fee. So it's a pretty seamless process. As far as key management, I have my properties on Lockbox, or I have this service called Key Cafe. With Key Cafe, you just go to, wherever the key locker is, and they get a digital code. They pick up the key for the locker. They check in, self-directed. They check out. They put the key back in the locker. If you wanted to have someone meet your guest at check-in, it could be the same cleaning person, because they can do the cleaning. They can wait for them to check in at 3 p.m. If you're going to have a hard check-in, they pass over the keys, and they check them out. I prefer the self-directed method, especially I travel frequently on Airbnb, so it's pretty simple for me to just pick up a key. I don't really need to talk to the host about anything, key myself in. Plus, I could check in at whatever time, so it's not like I'm pressed to get there. As long as I know the key is on a lockbox on the front door or on the fence or at a pickup point. So that's how you would manage it abroad. And I have a video, I think, covering that. But with this property, since it's a well followed series on my YouTube channel, I'm going to show you each step, the renovations process, the photographing and staging of the property, what kind of resonates well on Airbnb, how to photograph the space so you get optimal lighting and you can visualize the space well, what matters to people. So I'll show you that. How do I set up? I'll show you the back end as to how much I make, booking ratios, how frequently am I booked, how much am I making. All in on this deal, I think I'm going to spend less than $25,000, maybe 30 after renovations are done, furniture's in, all little fees, my travel costs. It might be a $30,000 investment for the first property. So if I'm making $300, $400 a month on Airbnb, I'll be happy. I could even rent out the studio apartment probably for like 200 euros a month or 180 euros a month, and then whatever I make on Airbnb, so I could have some fixed revenue versus the more, the higher returns on Airbnbs. It's a small town, so I would imagine a lot of the people who are going to stay in my place are going to be people coming for dollar homes or visiting grandma and grandpa and want their own privacy. So that's what I think. So I have another question here. Sienna, her question is there an international firm a beginner like me could work with to get started? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. I'm guessing you're saying an Airbnb firm or a realtor. Just clarify that. Whoa. Okay. Then the next question is, do you think purchasing a home virtually is feasible? I wouldn't do it. It might be feasible, but I think it's not smart. Why would you buy something? I buy property sight unseen here in the States, but I wouldn't do that with Italy. I felt that I needed to go. And I think you should go so you can understand the lay of the land, understand how close you are to the piazza, what kind of block you're on. You're going to want to see the different inventory. You're going to want to see inside and say, okay, how does this layout feel? How high are the ceilings? How much light do I get in? I know it's such a cheap purchase. You might be inclined to just say whatever, $2,500 purchase. Why do I need to go there? But I don't think that's a good idea. Very informative is another question here from Baida. Very informative. I have several questions. 1, how can I become a citizen? Okay. 2, can I have dual citizenship? 3, where do I stay when I visit? And 4, can I live in my house while I renovate it? I'm going to answer these, I guess, in order. Yeah, that makes the most sense. To become a citizen, I have no idea. I know that you could apply for residency, and the main things that matter to them is, do you have income? There's a retirement visa, so you need to show passive income of more than 2,000 euros a month to qualify for that. That way you're not taking Italian jobs. Then they have a work visa, which you might be able to qualify for if you're a native English speaker, you're teaching at a school, or you have a job in Italy. Again, you're not going to be a social blight. You can apply for residency. As far as citizenship is concerned, I have no idea what the citizenship rights are. I believe they have some investor-based ones, like invest a certain amount of capital into a business and you could get residency. But citizenship, I have no idea. Dual citizenship, I have no idea. I would kind of contact their embassy and find out. Next question is, where do I stay when I visit? Well, if my apartment is done, you stay at my place. If not, you could stay at, I think I stayed at Viola's, and there's a few other B&Bs in the area. So just Airbnb and check out what's in the area. But I stayed at a place called Viola's. It was inexpensive, pretty basic accommodations. Then there's another place that's really nice that's above Route 66, I think is the name of the restaurant. They built out 2 pretty cute restaurants and they redid their space. It's nice. I like their space a lot. To locate properties, email me at carl@souls.lapierre. You'll see that in comments, or I'll post it right here. So I'm posting it to the chat, and I'll highlight that for a second so you can see it. carl@souls.lapierre.com. I'll introduce you to my agent, Valeria, and she'll help you out. Another thing, are there things to do during the evening, weekend to stay busy? Okay, here's 2 questions. So Robert, this one always gets me going, man. There's a fair amount of migration from Africa. Do you ever feel any racism? I didn't feel any racism while I was there. I think because of African immigration, the first look is he just another immigrant? And that's going to happen regardless of race, right? If there's a major immigration issue, like Albania to Greece, for instance, there was a big problem with that. The Greeks didn't like the Albanians, even though they're all white. So they just didn't like them because they were taking jobs, blah, blah, blah. So as a Black person, the first thought is that you're Nigerian, Eritrean, Ethiopian, something along those lines. But they kind of immediately recognize that you're an American if you're an American. And then it's like, oh, you're a tourist. But I didn't see any hostility. I didn't experience any hostility. And to be quite honest, I don't live my life worrying about racism. Racism is a fool's game. Racists are usually undereducated, broke people, and they're looking for some sort of reason to dislike somebody else when the real issue is that they just aren't satisfied with their life. So why do I care about a racist? You know what I mean? If they're trying to put their hands on me or hurt me, they better be ready to die. If they're not ready to die, then it's just words and behavior. I don't really deal with that. So yeah, I don't let your race dictate how you live your life. You want to buy something in Italy, buy something in Italy, black, white, Chinese, Asian, whatever, dude. Don't buy into this whole racial construct BS. I have Blate United on Instagram. I'm sorry if I'm getting to you late. I know you rehab the property in Newark. Do you invest in any other areas in New Jersey? I'm looking to buy a 203K loan. With a 203K loan, your advice is appreciated. Okay, it's not related to the topic, but yes, I do buy in other areas. Right now, I'm buying in Hillsdale. You could see that property on my feed, and I buy in New York. Wherever the deals pop up, but New York and northern New Jersey is kind of my playground just because it's within 100 miles and it's not too bad for my guys. Another question from Instagram. In the process of purchasing a home in Abruzzo, Italy, any banks you recommend? No idea. I bought my properties cash. Don't know. No idea. I would talk to your agent. The agent should know better than anybody else. That's their line of business. That's their world. So talk to an agent. I have no idea. I got to say, I'm not an expert. I'm kind of like one step removed from you guys. And I'm very impulsive when it comes to buying things for myself. I don't really, when I'm making an investment decision, this is not, in my opinion, an investment. This was a vanity purchase. I wanted the Italian property. I thought it'd be a good project for content. I thought it would be nice for my daughter to have this international experience and know that she's gets exposed to other cultures, exposure to other languages. So I didn't care how much, like what the investment potential was. I thought that was the value for me, is to have something international paid off for me to play around with. It's more of a fun project for me. Girl in STP joined. Welcome. Live your life. Exactly. Okay. Deesh, you have a question. The question is this. Here we go. I'd like to become a U.S. expat. In your opinion, is this part of Italy stable enough politically, economically for a young family? Good question. Depends on what you do for work. It depends on what kind of life you want to live. It's a small town. So there's going to be a few bars, few restaurants. Everybody knows each other. If you like that vibe, like I invest in Port Jervis, New York, they have about the same population as Port Jervis. You like that vibe? Cool. If you want more activity, maybe move to Agrigento, Palermo, Catania. Those are bigger cities. You're going to have that city vibe. They're closer to the coast, so you're going to have that beach vibe. Those might, if you're looking for work to work locally, those might be good. But if you like that kind of slower living, then Mussomeli is a good spot. Blind Sam, you like my mindset? Thank you. I like it too. When is your birthday? Just curious. In the middle of November. I'm a Scorpio. How are you paying your taxes without a bank? How am I paying my taxes without a bank? Well, I have a bank account, but I don't have a mortgage. So I have a US bank account, and Valeria functions as my proxy. She's a legal proxy to me. So if I need any transactions done, I pay her. She handles it for me. Um, and when I go back, I'm opening up a bank account there. That way, I'm not paying $40 every international wire transfer that I do. So if the question is, what bank would I bank with? I have no idea. I'm going to pick a bank when I go back. Right now, I'm banking with my local US bank, and I'm just wiring funds to whoever I need to wire funds to. Do you think curb appeal matters when purchasing property in Italy? For example, a building with no view or a property with a view of the ocean. Of course, man. People like aesthetically pleasing things. No view versus a view. Of course, a view is always going to be better. The facade of your building looking good versus dumpy makes a difference. People like to be in or around good looking things. So it does make a difference. That was this question here. All right, so to purchase an Italian bank account, IUIS required if paying cash. I'm not sure what you mean, Lorianne. Disha, thank you. I have some passive income and I teach online. Are there premium properties in the city areas you named? I'll email if we are pressed for time. Yeah, you can email me. Listen, you could first of all check out my friend Davo, Dauvo. We did a live together. He's in Italy. He's an American dude from Ohio. Moved out to Italy because he fell in love with a girl. True story. I didn't make it up. He fell in love with a girl, moved out to Italy, has established his life there, and now he's investing in Italian real estate. He just did a video showing you his house, which is 30 minutes outside of Milan. Milan's a big city where there's jobs, where there's opportunity, where there's activity. He paid $30,000 for his house, and he's bought a 2-family house for like $55,000, right? With 2 separate units, large. You could buy, and these are I would consider some of the premium listings, because they're not dollar properties, right? So you could buy a premium listing. My other premium listing, my little guy, I paid 5,000 euros for that, right? You can get premium listings for that in the bigger cities for like $20,000 to $40,000. It could be 1 unit. It could be like a 1-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom apartment, maybe in an older building, maybe it needs a little bit of love, but you can buy properties for 20,000, 30,000 euros all day in a lot of Italy. The lowest price for livable that I saw. Good question, Blind Sam. The cheapest one that I saw that was livable was my 5,000 euro home. 1 bedroom, literally, you clean it up, you sweep it, you paint the walls, maybe a little bit of plaster for the cracks if the cracks bother you, and you're ready to go. Running water, electrical, everything is there, no leaks in the roof, livable, 5,000 euros. And that's like a 400 to 500 square foot home, 2 levels, kitchen, living area combo, bedroom, bathroom upstairs, corner unit, 5K. Cheap. Okay, another question here. Vida, do you get to decide how much land? Of course, you're the buyer, so you're going to decide what you buy. Yeah, I don't mean to sound crazy saying that, but you buy what you want to buy. For the €1 homes, they're mostly townhouses, so they may not have a yard attached, or you could find a pile of bricks that was a farmhouse and rebuild that pile of bricks, and that might have more land, and they're selling it for €1. This is why it's important for you to go there, meet with the agent, and see what's out there, and say, okay, this is for me or this is not for me. Um, Suzette, where was that? No idea what your question is. If your question is where did I pay 5,000 for the property, that's in Mussomeli, Sicily. Have you ever thought why properties near the center in Rome, Milan, etc. are so expensive, 300 to 500, given the weak economy? I don't think about stuff like that. I think they're that expensive because the market allows it to be that expensive. People are willing to pay 300, 500. I mean, the price will always dictate supply and demand, nothing else. Rome is a big city. Milan's a big city. There are big top earners there too, and there's going to be properties that sell for that price, especially if they're new construction. Paida, how many options are there? I think just I know I know of two towns that are doing it: Sambuca and Mussomeli. But I'm sure there's other towns. I just saw that they're doing the same in Spain, and I'm going to get one of these properties in Spain too. So I would say, like, other than Mussomeli, Sambuca for sure. And I haven't really looked because I'm not like searching. Like I said, this was impulse. My brother sent me a link. I said, interesting. I flew myself out there, bought a property. And I didn't buy one for €1 because at the $5,000 price point or the $12,000 price point, I got things that were livable that just needed some TLC. And I knew that if I got the €1 property, it was going to cost me more than 5,000 or 12,000 to get them to an equivalent state. So I chose the premium listings just off of a value perspective. I think insurance might be required if you are carrying a mortgage. I didn't get insurance on my properties. I just did it. Condo fees, I would imagine there are. Nothing's free. So if it's a condominium, there should be some sort of common charges. But it's pretty cheap. Like if you look at one of my posts, somebody posted like, what is the cost of living for two people? I kind of presented that in my video, and he responded. He's paying less than €1,000, or like 1,100 euros a month for him and his partner for automobile, food, socializing, everything. Cell phone like $25 a month. If you look at the cost, like on your first property, if your primary residence is Italy, on your first property, you don't pay property taxes. There's like a term called prima casa. So your primary home is tax exempt, property tax. Your second home gets taxed. I'm paying about €600 a year in property taxes. To me, that's free. I have properties that I'm paying $15,000, $18,000 a year property tax in New York. So $600 to me is free to me. Calabria. I seen a woman who's there. I haven't been, but you're more than welcome to go. I can't stress this enough. This is for J Roberts. If you're thinking about buying one of these properties, it's interesting to you, get on a plane, take your butt there, visit all these places that you heard about, cut a check, and then the rest is going to be exciting. Just do it, man. Just get up, go, and if it's something that you're flirting with, you better go see it. I don't think you're going to make a decision from a YouTube video. I don't think you're going to make a decision from a news article. You're going to need to go there. You're going to need to feel it. And then, you'll be able to act on it. Arturo Ufolo. Arturo. Are you Brazilian? I think you are. Hello, Arturo. Boa noite, if you are. Okay. I think think that's pretty much it for the questions. Now, as far as the things that you're going to need if you're going to buy, one thing that you're going to need is a codice fiscale, which is the equivalent of a tax ID number or social security number in Italy. You could apply for this through the embassy. You could Google it. Some people charge you a fee. I heard that it's no fee. I think I paid money for mine. I got it the same day while I was in Mussomeli. I think I paid 15 euros, but I can't remember because it's just, like I said, certain things I don't commit to memory because they're negligible. You're going to need an agent. You're going to need a title or notary person. We call them title here, but it's notary there. That person is going to do all the research on the property, the title search, preparing your legal documents, your deed, all of that stuff. The translations, that's going to cost you about 2,500 euros. That's how much it cost me for my properties. About 2,500. I had to pay part of the broker's fee. That's the way that it works over there. The seller pays some, the buyer pays some. I think my broker fees were like $600 or something like that. Other fees that pop up, you're going to have to do what's called a apostille here in the U.S. So it's pretty much you get your documents, physical documents notarized here in the U.S. You send them to the Department of State to confirm that that notary is legit. They stamp it, they give you a certificate, and then you send that signed document back to Italy, and you can close remotely. I closed using Valeria, my agent, as my proxy. I paid her like 200 euros for her work. She goes, she sits in, she signs for me. She has power of attorney. That was a document that I need to have notarized, was her power of attorney. And that's it. I can say the process was pretty smooth. I went, I saw what I liked. I signed some documents to bind the property, place me in contract. I got home, I wired 10% deposit. Valeria sent me my proxy documents. I signed them. I sent them to the state to get, certified. Mailed them via DHL back to Italy. She received them. We scheduled the closing. I wired one wire for the balance to the notary, and then I wired him his notary fee of 2,500 euros. I got an email. My transaction was complete. I'll pick up my papers when I go to Italy. Simple. I would say the only thing that was kind of weird to me was the terminology, the difference, notary versus title, and then having to get the apostille because I never heard of that until that point. Some more questions. How do I determine what regions of Italy to invest in? Based on how I feel. That's it. Do I want to be near the beach? Yes or no? Do I want to be in a big city? Yes or no? Do I want to be in a big city near the beach? Yes or no? Do I want to be in the countryside? Yes or no? What kind of weather do I want? What kind of elevation do I want? Large city, small city. You have to decide what you want, and then you pick what you want. Paida, do you ever have natural disasters like earthquakes in the areas in question, volcanoes, tornadoes? Yes, there are earthquakes and volcanoes. There's a recently active volcano in Sicily. It's a beautiful thing to go see. I think it's like Mount Etna or something like that. We live, we die. It's guaranteed. If you're worried about it, maybe, I don't know where there's no natural disasters on this planet, but that's what it is. What about Scalea and Calabria? Yeah, I've heard it's I would say they're similar towns to Mussomeli. I've never visited, so I'm not sure what's good, what's bad about them. Maybe as I get around those areas. Give me 1 second. I got something in the stove. 1 second. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I got some food in the oven and got scared that it was burning up. Sorry. So Scalea and Calabria. Um, yeah, they're towns that are experiencing the same. I think they have some euros, they have some premiums. There's a woman, I can't remember her name. I think Super Savvy Traveler or Savvy Traveler, something like that. Nice woman. She's been covering this topic at length. You might want to check her out. Let me see if I could find. I think her name is Christina. Traveler Italy. Let me get that for you, and I'll put it in the a link to one of her videos. I'll put here so that you can see and follow her. Nice lady. She's doing a few projects in Scalea now, and I think it's worth checking out. Are the services provided by your agent the standard, or did you to negotiate this? I don't know. I think they are pretty standard, but if you like to negotiate, then you should try to whip up the terms that you want. But from what I understand, in Italy, especially on lower priced properties, the commissions are shared between the buyer and the seller. And then as far as the proxy terms, it's their time, their life. Uh, they gotta want to be compensated for their time. So if you don't like their price, then you can negotiate with somebody else. I tend not to do that because I feel like when you start to squeeze people for their price, they give you less service. I mean, they're not supposed to do that, but they tend to do it because it's like I'm not even getting paid that much for this. So I tend to just pay people what they want and hold them to a certain standard. If they don't meet my standard, then I don't work with them again. But Valeria, she was nice to or good to me. So, do you have access to stable cell phone and internet networks? Yes. Yep. Okay. So aside from the transactional side, I think one question that people tend to have is what about the contractors, right? No matter where you go in the world, most contractors are awful. So my recommendation for contractors is that you work with somebody who's recommended by someone that you have come to trust and has used them, and that you could go and verify their work and say, oh, what did they do for you? They redid your bathroom. Can I see your bathroom? What was your experience like? Attitude, timeliness, whatever matters to you, you screen them for that. Also, you could work with your real estate agent and the people who are tied into the industry. They'll be able to tell you who's flighty, who's good, etc. The way I met my contractor, Luca, I was walking around. Their guys were on a job site. I walked in. I started talking to them. Turns out that an English dude, Sean, owned that property. Sean gave me a tour of his house and told me that his experience with Luca has been great. Luca speaks English. Um, Luca's house is dope. His own house. He lives in Mussomeli. His place is really nice. So you get a sense of what the level of craftsmanship. And I have to say this about Italians: they care about the work that they put out. They really care. It's almost like a point of pride. So the craftsmanship tends to be pretty good. So that's one thing that I'll definitely give them. But I'm working with Luca, so you'll see exactly how his work goes. I'll share the cost of my renovations. Some of the renovations I'm doing myself, painting, things like that, some decorating stuff because I like to. Do I need to speak Italian to get a CAS? Liliana, do you need to Do you need to speak Italian? It's always going to help to speak the local language. But Lucas speaks, my contractor speaks English. My real estate agent speaks English. Um, I speak like, I don't know, 100 words of Italian, and I can barely string together a sentence. I haven't been practicing, but I'll get there, especially when I'm going to be spending some time there. I'll jump on my Pimsleur and get up to date. Um, Arturo's asking me, do I think it's going to rent there? So let me put you on the screen here. Yeah, I think so. I rented when I stayed, right? I had to go there, I had to stay somewhere. People are going to come in and out of that city. They need to stay somewhere. Am I counting on rental income? Absolutely not. I am in Florida. I'm not in Italy now. I went to Italy to check out the €1 houses. I didn't buy a €1 house. I bought one for 5,000 euros and another one for 12,000 euros. Actually, the 5,000 euros hasn't closed yet. So I'm still in contract on that. That one is closing right after the holidays because my seller was a 93-year-old woman and she passed away. So her grandchildren are responsible for the estate and are completing the sale. So that property got delayed. That one I'm more excited about because I like it. I think it's a cuter house. It's like kind of like a tiny house. I feel that I don't know. I just like it better. I like small things. Am I interested in doing a joint venture for a bigger home slash building? I'm open to joint ventures. Um, all depends on whether how it fits into my strategy. I what you know what I've been thinking about doing, and maybe this is something that I'll do as my following grows, right? Because I kind of need mass effect. But I've been thinking about doing like a Kickstarter or like a group investment on one of these properties. Something that you know can be done as a collective that multiple people buy into, and we do this project together. So I've been thinking about something like that, maybe like building a retreat house or building a farmhouse. That way, the people who buy in can stay there a week or something like that. I think that will kind of be like the trade. Buy in for $1,000, $2,000, and you stay there a week out of the year for the next 5 years or whatever the budget requires. That way, I could get participation for rehab from architects, from people who physically want to come and put their hands on the project, make it more interactive. Um, so I'm open. I'm open to things. Paida, you're gonna have to wait. Ultimately, if there's a travel ban, you just wait until the travel ban is lifted, and then you go. Jacques and I are watching. He says hello, Uncle. First of all, Pierre and Co. Designs. Who are you? Honestly, if Jacques and you are watching, then that means who's this? This is Francely. I need to know, man. Tell me who you are. What are the new good ideas in your head these days? Man, I got so many things rolling around this mind. Um, so right now, um, I am really trying to condense what I'm doing. Um, so for my home healthcare company, I'm expanding that and growing that practice out. So we're a tech-enabled home healthcare service. provider. So that's eating up a lot of my time. That's a big play, putting that together as a startup with the goal being acquisition or public offering. My real estate ventures, one of my partners is coming on full time. He's been investing with me for years, but he's going to be making the transition to be a full time employee. France and Jacques on Mom's account. Awesome, man. I'm glad you guys are staying tuned. Franz told me, my Franz, my brother, not you. He told me, awesome, gotcha. Awesome, awesome. I didn't know that. See, now I know. But yeah, I've been trying to get my brother to tell you guys that you need to start investing over in North Carolina, man. And I know you kind of have an affinity to money. So I highly recommend that you start getting active down there, especially before you go to college. Get a few properties under your belt with your dad, start managing them. You'll thank me for that later. Um, outside of that, so one like my heart is in this. Just to uh, tell you, Karen, um, I like these obscure projects, and I like being uncomfortable and being in new environments. I like to learn. I like change. So as I get away from my home care business, as I sell that, and I would like to spend my life traveling the world, investing in projects like this. I would really like to create some sort of kind of commission and back some sort of like the creation of sculptures in certain areas. Um, I would like to build out some schools. I'd like to build an airport in some regional airports in Haiti, which is my parents' country. So I have a lot of ideas to do a lot of different things, and they're always coming and going. Just a problem of being an ENTP, I guess. But the next property I'm gonna do, I'm most likely going to Brazil either in September, October. I haven't figured out which month yet. Um, to get another international project. So you're going to see that featured here on this channel. I like Brazil. The vibe is so cool over there and under traveled, in my opinion. A lot of people sleeping on Brazil. Even I did a post, where should I buy next? And it was the least voted. And that's clear to me that those people have never been there. And I guess if there's not enough press on Brazil other than like crime stats, I guess, that have people thinking Brazil is not a place to be, but Brazil is pretty dope. Largest country in South America, all super diverse, amazing culture. So I'm getting a property in Brazil next, and then I want to get 10 more international projects because like the idea in this head of mine is that I should be able to live in a different country every month of the year, preferably for like their high season, their festival, or whatever is cool, and just bounce around, open up restaurants in those areas, B&Bs, so that I have like this touch with tourists, this touch with people, and constant change. So I'm starting to build that out. So Brazil's next, and then probably after Brazil is going to either be Spain or Greece, and then either South Africa or Ghana, and then I'm going to move further east into probably get a property in Thailand. I like Thailand a lot. So that's what's on the plate here. I'm going to take another, I guess, 5 questions, and then I'm going to close out. My nephew's asking me on Instagram, how old was I when I got my first deal? I was 24 years old. And I wish I had an uncle that was trying to get me to start when I was 15, 16 years old. Because I would be probably at like easily $100 million in real estate instead of 16 million. Invest in El Salvador. I've heard good things about El Salvador. What city would you say in El Salvador? Um, okay, let's see. I want to get some of these questions out. I'm gonna be short-winded too. So, um, Paida, what type of climate is there? Do you experience all four seasons? And which months do they occur? It's in the northern hemisphere. Oh, that's that. That was my IG that died. Italy. Yes. Okay. So, sorry, I got distracted. Sorry about that. Okay. So, what type of climate is there? Do you experience all four seasons? And which months do they occur? Northern Hemisphere, four seasons. Barely get snow in Sicily. Further north, they're going to get snow, and it occurs in the same seasons. I guess if you're not from a region where there's four seasons, winter is going to be like December, January, February. 6 months later is going to be summertime, and then in between those are going to be like your moderate temperatures, your fall and spring. Can you get a codice fiscale online from America? I believe so. Google it, and you might get your answer. But I think you can. Lorianne, right now there seems to be a buzz about countries in Africa. What do I think? I think there's opportunities everywhere in the world. Um, Africa is an emerging market, as they say, and when markets are taking shape, the countries are developing. There's a lot of opportunity to be had, especially when you're dealing with building infrastructure and being an early mover. You know, those who adopt early usually reap the rewards the most. Um, don't know which. I know I see a lot on Ghana. Uh, South Africa has gone through its ups and downs and has a fairly well developed economy. But I can't say that I'm an expert on anything Africa. I've actually never been to any of the African countries, which is a shame. But the goal is to get out to Africa in 2021. And I'll tell you where I want to go. I want to go to Morocco. I want to go to South Africa. Those are number one and two on my list. I want to go to Tunisia. So maybe from Italy, I could do Sicily, Tunisia, Morocco, and then from Morocco, shoot down to South Africa in one trip. Awesome idea. Thank you. Karen Lee. Do you feel sometimes too tired with all those constructive thoughts, which cause seriousness? My problem too. Yeah, sometimes I get tired, but then I go to sleep, and then that usually cures that. What ends up happening is I get over. I just have too many projects going on, and then I'll have like a moment where I kind of implode. But it takes me about 2 or 3 days to recover from those moments. And the solution is usually rest, exercise, and then really saying which one of these things is working the best for me. What's making me the most money, and what do I enjoy the most? And I kind of consolidate down to that. What's most lucrative, and what do I enjoy? And I kind of split my time between pleasure and financial gain. Suzette, scroll up and you'll see my email address up there. Carl@soulislapierre.com. Churches, Ida, you're talking about the Rome, predominantly Roman Catholic. Is it better to rent out or sell a property? From an investor standpoint, I really don't know. I haven't looked at it that way, Fred. Um, I personally like to buy and hold. That's my preferred strategy. So I would assume the same. The only thing is those rents are going to be low. Like think about this. You could rent apartments for 300, $400 a month in Italy. So, as far as the return on investment, if I spend 25,000 on a property, I'm renting it out for 400 a month, I'm doing close to what, 15% or so a year on that property. That's pretty good. So it depends on how you look at it. I don't really like to sell properties because then you need to deal with like people. When people are renting, the transaction is pretty simple. Is it big enough? Is it nice enough? I only plan on being here a year or two or three or whatever. When people buy, it's a lifetime decision, and they get so like annoying with what they're looking for in a house when it's really just nothing but a liability when you own your own home. Will you vlog your property rehab in Italy? Yes. Gisard, what's up? Any online real estate gurus, Marco Rubel, George Howard, that you would recommend to follow? Have you ever had a real estate mentor? No, I'm from the School of Hard Knocks. I've worked with, like, I draw my information from anybody who's experienced and willing to give me information. Marco Rubel, I don't even know who that is. George Howard, I don't know who that is. They may be legit. They may be good. Um, oh man, this is a perfect question for me to plug my own program. Yes. So last fall, I decided to film how to invest in real estate, 1 to 4 family homes. I call that program Killing the American Dream. I can't believe I didn't plug it. Silly. So I wanted to teach people exactly how I approach investing in real estate. 15 hours long, 14 lessons with homework assignments so that you're actually building the muscle memory. $97 a month if you do it monthly, or you pay for the monthly plan. $2,000 one-time fee, and that will open you up to all programs that I produce. So the next program I'm going to create is how to kind of set up an Airbnb business. That's going to be a shorter program. But if you buy into the $2,000 program, you'll get whatever I put out for life, right? So whatever that is. And then for those who go through my program, you're able to get direct mentoring from me in an invest and learn situation. I'm a healthcare professional. I had clinicals when I graduated from college. I paid to be trained. When I was doing that, I thought I should someday have a program where people pay to be trained, but they can get a return on their investment, right? When you go to school, you pay out, your money's gone. So I created the program so that if you go through my program, sorry, with this freaking light. When you go through the program, you end up investing in a deal alongside me. You have a percentage in that deal. When that deal flips and the profit is turned, you get your education for free and you turn a profit. That way you got your hand held, you learn how to do it the way that I do it, and everybody wins. I win on the side that I'm also in the deal. I make money on that deal, and the education portion is free and real life for you to build the muscle memory that you need to invest in real estate. So if I recommend anybody, I recommend myself. So that's your answer. Paida, I love questions, but you got so many. Schools, the universities are in Palermo. How many properties do I own now? Geez, I really don't know. I think it's somewhere like in the 20 area. And then I have my co-working space. So I probably have about 70 plus tenants, 20, 21 properties, something like that. I just added, I'm closing on one this week. I have another one closing next week. Then I have another one closing in September. Then I have some properties that I'm selling. So I'm around like 20 something properties, something like that. 21, 22. Where can I go online to look over your program, sir? I'm glad you asked. www.entplife.com/killing the American dream. And I'm going to post it right here. That link will take you there. You can check out the program, see how it's structured. Teaches you how to isolate deals, how to build your team out, how to manage your construction, how to manage your properties as rentals, how to analyze the deals, how to source capital, who I use to source capital, everything that you would need for 1 to 4 family real estate. Even if you're doing your first project using an FHA 203K loan for a 4-family home. There's a woman named Erica. I did a lot when I was in Italy. I did a live with her. She came on. She had some questions. She just closed on her first 203K property, and she's doing her renovations right now. That's the sort of thing that I love to see happen. But this program also includes how to do that process so that you can, instead of buying a property at market rate, you're buying it under market value, repairing it, adding value, forcing appreciation. That way, when you move into your house, you already are up maybe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in equity, right? I want you guys to be out there winning, making money, here in the United States, so you can buy your homes in Brazil, Italy, Greece, Thailand, and do those fun things. You shouldn't just be married to this property or married to your debts. You should be hacking our capitalist system so that you can ultimately live the life of your dreams, right? So there's a reason why my program is called Killing the American Dream. There's a reason why I consistently preach to live your dream life. It's what I believe. It's how I'm trying to live. I try to live chasing happiness and, and enjoying happiness at the same time. Liliana. Okay. Well, actually, I skipped. Wow, man. All right. I promise I'm not going to go that much further, but I'm going to answer these questions. I like them. All right. J. Robert Simmons. How do you finance all your properties? It's a combination of cash and debt. So on the perfect deals, I'm going to be in for anywhere between 10 or 20% when I'm buying my flips, right? Depending on, like right now, my lenders want 20% of the acquisition price or project cost because of coronavirus and the uncertainty. Sometimes it gets down to 10%. So that 20%, I buy my property. The goal is to purchase and repair that property for less than 70%, or even sometimes less than 60% of the market value. Once I do that, I then recapitalize myself either through flipping the property and selling it for that additional 40% or 30%, or I refinance at 70%, 75% loan to value. So I completely recapitalize myself with my cash, and I'm able to do it all over again. Every now and then I get money stuck. But you know what? If I get $20,000 stuck in a deal, and that property has $60,000 worth of equity, I still made 300% return on the 20 grand that's stuck, as far as how it reflects on my financial statement. Okay. And then I'm generating money off of rent, potential appreciation, and selling it down the line. So that's how I finance my deal. So it's a combination of cash, hard money, cash, investor loans, usually levered to some degree. Sometimes all cash. I got an all cash deal right now here in Fort Lauderdale, $600,000, because the bank was just moving too slow and I need to close. So I went in cash. I'll be refinancing out of that in September. So that was that question. Sorry if I missed it, but do you have plans to visit your place in Italy? Of course I do. If not, who's watching it for me? I would say the man upstairs. um, nobody's really watching the property for me. You know, what's going to happen? I guess a squatter is going to move in. If a squatter moves in, they needed the place more than me. So, God bless them. I'm not worried about like the theft or anything like that. It didn't seem like a very high crime neighborhood. It's a small town. Usually people are pretty good there. If my real estate agent noticed something weird, they let me know. Same thing with my contractor. How much money do I need to buy a small property in Italy? Liliana, I would say at minimum, you're going to need about $10,000. Why? You got to spend $5,000. Like for one of my properties, I paid $5,000 for the property, but I also had like another $3,000 in fees. So you figure that's on the cheaper side, $5,000. I would say anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 will get you in. Fred, how can you determine the worth of an investment property? And does the process vary from other countries such as Italy? You will always determine the value of a property based on two things: cost to replace, comparable sales. Your cost to replace is literally what it says is if you had to rebuild this house, how much would it cost you, right? In Italy, these properties will actually cost me more to rebuild than to buy. So what ends up happening is that it ends up being a comparable sale valuation. So you look at recent sales in the past 6 months for similar properties, you take the average of that. If you ever look at an appraisal, which we do this in detail in my course, Killing the American Dream, we look at an appraisal in detail. They'll take 3 to 5 properties, similar size, similar area, getting it as close as possible, similar style, square footage, kitchen and bedroom count, that sold in that neighborhood. They take the average price, and that's the value in that area. So if you're looking at a new market and the sales data is available, look in that new market and look at houses that have sold in the past 6 months within like half a mile's distance. Take the average price, and you have a good sense of that. Okay. So Pida gets one more question, and after Pida's question, one other question, and I'm out of here because I need to eat my dinner. Pida says, you mentioned that you started in healthcare services in one of your other videos. Will you be opening one in Sicily? If yes, can I apply for a job already? No, I'm not going to be opening another healthcare company in Italy. I don't know how their system works. And I honestly have fallen out of love with healthcare. So my healthcare operations right now are my last ventures in healthcare, as far as I know. Whatever happens here, and I'm done with that. As far as what will I open, in Italy, I would like to open my chain of Mexican restaurants. So there's not much Mexican food in Italy. So I would bring a nice Mexican restaurant somewhere near my property, or like a supper club where people could come in and dine in with me. I love cooking. I love the culinary experience. So I'd either do a supper club where people could come to my house, eat, drink, have fun, or I would do a Mexican restaurant. And, in one of those establishments, you're more than welcome to apply when that happens. If you're qualified, then you may have a job. Okay, Farah, the last question. Would you recommend investing in upstate New York and potentially rent it out? Farah, if this is your first time watching me, I highly recommend you look at my other videos because I post a lot of videos on investing in upstate New York. downstate New York, the numbers, you're going to make money on appreciation. What's for dinner, Jack? See, Emmanuel Thomas, he's one of my partners, and he's the guy that I was talking about earlier today. That looks fantastic in a neon green bikini. Yes, Emmanuel Thomas, welcome. Welcome to the feed. Yeah, so upstate New York, New York City has always eluded me in a way. I always felt that the prices were too high, the rents were too low. So I started my investing career in Long Island, New York. Prices in Long Island got pretty high. I started looking for value in other areas that took me to upstate New York, Rockland County, Carmel, Orange County. I've thought about investing as far up as Poughkeepsie. I've been thinking about Buffalo, big time. So Albany, I've thought about as well. But I do recommend investing upstate. And the reason for that is that compared to the property values, rents are kind of high. It's still New York. So, I have one property that we probably spent $90,000 on between buying it, renovating it, and everything, 90 to 100,000. Actually, 90. What's it called? 38 Orange Street, right? I spent about 90,000 on that house, 100,000, something like that. And that house rents for $1,500 a month, right? So I'm seeing about 1.5% return on investment per month in that home, and it's worth about 140, 150. So do I think it's worth it? Absolutely. My other house that I was telling you about, I bought one for $27,000, spent about $70K fixing it, worth 165. I think even might be up to 180 now in that neighborhood. I rented out for $1,650 a month, and so that's $65,000 in equity, $1,650 a month in rent, and that's been a good experience, and that's upstate New York. So those are sort of deals that you could find, and also Farah, when you're looking at upstate New York, a lot of people have been moving upstate because of what's happened in New York City with the coronavirus. So there's somewhat of a boom and kind of like a relocation of people, especially people who are working remotely and are comfortable now working remotely and saying, well, why am I paying, $3,000 for a studio in Manhattan when I can pay $3,000 on a mortgage in a 6-bedroom colonial house with river views in Newburgh or in Port Jervis. I could pay $200,000 for a renovated house, still do my job, and I'll be paying only $1,800 a month in my mortgage, and I own, and I get my tax deductions, and I get so much more value from that. So short answer is yes. I highly encourage that you invest out in upstate New York. And if you're just trying to figure it out and you're just learning, once again, www.entplife.com. My course, Killing the American Dream, is on there. $97 a month. I think it's a bargain based on how much information is shared, what you learn, the door that it opens for you. I think it's incredible value. And for the last question, which was Emmanuel's question, what's for dinner? Tonight I'm making salmon. I'm making tomorrow's lunch, which is probably some fish as well. So it's probably going to be salmon or swordfish that I have. Corn and carrots. That's for tomorrow. For today, it's going to be a salmon salad with a honey mustard vinaigrette that I'm making from scratch. Goat cheese, some nuts. It's late, so trying to stay lean. But thank you guys. I definitely appreciate you coming out, talking Italian real estate with me. The next video that you'll see on this topic is going to be my renovations plans. So that's in the process of being edited now. Just putting the final touches on that. So it's showing you my floor plan, my layout, my inspiration, how I draw inspiration, my idea of splitting it into a 2-family home, another walk through the house, and my renovations budget. So if you want to know what to expect, I'm never going to film like this again in here. And I got convinced to stay home today instead of going back to my office. So, the light show in the background, you could thank my lady for that. So I'm going to be showing you that process, what's going on. And then hopefully when they open up borders again, I'm going to go out to Sicily, check out my property, see how the renovations are going, do some work there. I'll probably spend about 2 or 3 weeks in Italy when I go out there again. And I'm going to document that. I'll probably do quite a few videos in that time. As far as capturing videos, I'll do a combination of very well-produced videos and these lives that are obviously bare bones, and maybe some in-betweens, kind of maybe highlighting a few other people. I've met people who've seen my video and are doing projects over there, so I'd like to meet up with them, maybe meet up with Davo in Milan. Also, like I said, stay tuned for my project in Brazil. That's going to be pretty exciting. I'm also flirting with the idea of doing like a container house in Brazil, or like a tiny house in Brazil built from scratch. So, and another reason why I really like Brazil, their currency has gotten devalued almost 30% because of this coronavirus thing. So everything is on sale, in my opinion. So I would love to take advantage of that right now. And that's it, man. So everybody who came out, who stayed through the very end, who enjoyed me rattling on, thumbs up. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you talk about what we're doing here on ENTP Life with your friends, your family, anybody who's interested in real estate, healthcare, business in general. Those of you who aren't following me on Instagram, the platform that I hate, follow me on Instagram. I have a very cool series on there. It's called The Dirty Work, which is just me talking about the entrepreneurial life. And ENTP Life isn't for entrepreneur, it's for my Myers-Briggs personality type. But I do an entrepreneur's blog called The Dirty Work on ENTP Life on Instagram. So it's ENTP_life. Every morning or evening, I talk about what I did or what I plan to do for the day as an entrepreneur. I talk about my stock trading activities, real estate investing, home health care, health technology, and whatever else I'm doing that day. Talking to investors, prospecting sales leads, planning my recruitment strategies. The things that I do every single day that aren't quite glamorous, like buying a house in Italy or closing a deal or selling a house and turning a huge profit. It's none of the highlights. It's all of this, the details, the meat and potatoes of being an entrepreneur. Okay, so definitely check that out. I've been thinking about doing that here. I'm not sure if it's going to be a turnoff to my YouTube audience, but I'm probably going to test that in the survey and ask people, is that what they want? It's usually anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes in the morning. I just ramble on, kind of like this, and talk about the dirty work of my jobs and my career paths. Okay, so there's a lot to learn there, and I think I'm going to kind of start splitting it like that. I really like the high produced content, but it takes time to capture all the video footage while I'm living my life. It takes time to edit it, to plan the content. So I want to start doing more well-produced videos, like my Italian series and like my recent Florida video. And all of the informational stuff either is going to be in my daily vlog, The Dirty Work, or in a course where it's really focused, like Killing the American Dream. All right. So everybody, Susie, Paida, with the 1,000 questions, I know I'm kind of picking on you a bit, but I do enjoy them. Those are questions that other people have that they may be afraid to ask. So thank you for asking them. Emmanuel, thanks for tuning in. Liliana, definitely shoot me some messages about El Salvador. I'm not sure if you're from there, but if you are, let me know what it's like, and what the investment opportunities are there. There might be a play to be had. I have only been in a layover at an airport. So I've been on that soil. I just haven't really hung out there. Penny stock investor, man, stay away from those. Jan, thank you for checking in. If you're still here, Arturo, everybody, Karen Lee with your questions. I appreciate it. This is the part about having a social media channel that I like. I like the engagement. I like to inspire people. I like to teach. I like to get feedback. So thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to have this platform and kind of share my ideas. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Good night.